Season 8 of the finals is here, and in this major update, we have a new battle pass, new weapons, kill cams, and a variety of map changes and improvements. But most importantly, Season 8 is focused on optimizations and quality of life improvements. And even with the incredibly high bar that they've already set for themselves, Embark has worked hard to tighten up and improve every single aspect of the game and its systems to make the finals the best game that it can be. Season 8 is a deceptively large update to the game that comes at a critical moment in its life. Season 6 and 7 brought with them sweeping balance changes and content additions that stabilized the game and put it into a very healthy growth cycle that's rare to see in a live service FPS these days. And with so many new and returning players coming into the game, Season 8 had to land perfectly. What makes this a real challenge is that we are just a couple months away from the $100,000 esports tournament at DreamHack Stockholm, and adding major gameplay content like new specializations, weapons, gadgets, and maps could really disrupt things. But Embark has absolutely struck the balance and stuck the landing. Let's start with the fun and meaty additions to the game. Medium players have gotten their wish in the form of a medium SMG, the P90. With 50 bullets in the mag, you can expect to have a great time dealing with any kind of situation at close range. During the playtest, we tried it out in TDM and in World Tour. During the TDM matches, I felt that while the really high mag capacity gave me a lot of room for error when dealing with a single target, I often got punished more often than not by means of just not having enough bullets to deal with the next guy. But when hitting all my shots, it felt solid at being able to take out more than one player at a time without reloading. During World Tour, this thing felt incredibly well suited for a close-range medium weapon if you can hit your headshots. With headshots, the TTK is insanely fast, but without headshots, you're gonna have a hard time even competing with the Cerberus or Model. I definitely need some more time with this weapon, but it's super cool to see the medium have a dedicated SMG now, especially one that players have been asking for forever. And for the heavy, the BFR Titan. And while I didn't confirm this with any developers, I have close insider sources telling me that its name does, in fact, stand for Big F***ing Revolver. And yeah, this thing sure is. The best way to describe this weapon is that it's the pike, but for heavies. With 5 bullets and a punishing reload, it might seem awful at first, but if you land even one headshot with a BFR, you can change the outcome of an entire team fight. My friend Onyx Graves found out that you can actually do a pretty good job at playing on the last reload, and in doing so, you can kind of negate a lot of the downsides to this weapon. This thing hits hard, especially in the context of a team fight where you know that your teammates will be dealing damage to enemies as well. Knowing that by landing just one shot, you can remove vast quantities of an enemy's health bar is so satisfying. Like I said though, this is like the pike or repeater, but for the heavy. And as such, you're going to be playing heavy entirely different with this weapon, especially compared to something like the Shack or SA-12. All in all though, I think this is a super healthy addition to the game, and I'm excited to grind with this. Kill cams are now a thing as well. After you die, you get to see an instant replay of how your enemy killed you. This is going to be huge for players who want to really improve at the game, and is going to be massive for all the Diamond and Ruby grinders out there. Not only that, but there's now an end-of-match performance screen that shows you detailed stats of each round of the tournament, another really great tool for players looking to improve over time. On the map side of things, Monaco has had some changes with the season sponsors Trentilla and Holto now having representation on the map. Trentilla is a hilarious sponsor, producing real fruit, but better, and is the bioorganics company responsible for tiger fruit, which Ospuz uses. Trentilla taking over Tissun's corner of the shopping and hotels district, and Holto now has ownership over the construction site and crane. But that's not all. Suspended structures has been replaced with suspended sponsor structures, similar to Bernal, but now with its own Monaco taste. Building on from that, the crane, wrecking ball, and new suspended sponsor structures on Monaco also now have all new environmental destruction capabilities, as does Kyoto. And even though we didn't get footage of Kyoto during the Season 8 capture event, Embark Studios described this as build buildings having more dynamic and predictable breakpoints, destruction being now more optimized and easier to see where things will break or land. Bernal has now been added to TDM, and 2 older events have returned in the form of Dead Go Boom and Mega Damage. Not only that, but head-to-head is now a permanent mode, allowing players to practice final round. And Embark has also confirmed that we are going to have a ton of events in Season 8, similar to how we had tons of events in Season 7. Now, I will admit that on the surface, 2 new weapons and some map and destruction changes doesn't sound like that crazy of a season. But let me tell you, it's the changes and optimizations that Embark has done under the hood that will make this update go down as one of the best that the finals has ever had. Some of these changes you can feel, like the fact that the dematerializer has gotten a visual rework to be easier to peek through and has been nerfed to only 2 charges. There's now a grenade indicator for when you get a little too close to the explodey boys, and thermal vision has been taken out to be reworked, similar to what we saw with the stun gun / nullifier. But there are a ton of changes under the hood as well that are aimed at solving a lot of the smaller issues players have been having with the finals over the last few seasons. Let's start with some of the matchmaking optimizations. First on the list is that players who disconnect from ranked due to a system crash or loss of internet won't be penalized. Add to that a harder separation of solo queue players and stacks, a heavily requested change that will make solo queuing a lot more enjoyable. Just as well, the anti-cheat system has seen a big update, and while they didn't go into specifics for obvious reasons, they said to expect to see far fewer cheaters in the arena. Performance should be a lot better now too, with engine level optimizations to destruction. Shaders will also preload during launch and while in the menu, leading to faster loading times, and weapons being migrated to a new weapon system for more clear visuals and better performance overall. There's also a lot of new additions to the new player experience that Embark talked about a couple weeks ago. If you already have everything unlocked, this won't apply to you, but for new and returning players, they've added a new way to unlock specializations and gadgets through their playstyle system. This is going to really speed up the way that new players unlock weapons, gadgets, and specializations, and for players that have any of the items in a given playstyle unlocked from before Season 8, they'll immediately have access to everything else in those playstyles as well. For new players, the tutorial has gone through some changes too, teaching specializations, team wipes, and reviving in order to give players a better foundation. A lot of really good miscellaneous changes and updates here too. For example, mouse and keyboard support being added to console, and for esports enthusiasts, custom team names are now supported in private matches and will be shown in the environment on things like billboards and audience holograms. And of course, you have a new battle pass, new bundles, new soundtrack, and there's also earrings too. And finally, just talking about the theme of Season 8, it is the Grand Major itself, which is actually being canonized in the universe, which is such a cool thing to see. Once we have some more time with the update and more understanding of all the different tweaks and balance adjustments, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the esports and competitive impacts of Season 8. So make sure to like the video and subscribe if that's something you're interested in seeing. But now that Season 8 is finally here, what do you think? I know that a lot of people will be surprised to see Light not get any new weapons or gadgets, and while I don't know this for sure, I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a huge content drop in Season 9 following the DreamHack Major. Personally, I think that all the optimizations to matchmaking and the back end of the game are much needed, and the addition of killcams and detailed post-match stats is such a nice cherry on top. But as always, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't worry, you'll see me around.